What if I told you 3 men escaped from the most secure prison in America, leaving behind a mystery that still puzzles people today? This is the story of the Alcatraz prison break, a daring plan so bold that it turned the unbreakable fortress into a stage for one of history's greatest jailbreaks. How did they pull it off? Did they survive? And what clues did they leave behind? Let's uncover the incredible details of this legendary escape. The shocking discovery. It's the morning of June 12, 1962 on Alcatraz Island, located in the middle of San Francisco Bay. 3 prisoners, Frank Morris, John Anglin and his brother Clarence, are the focus of an incredible story. At 7 a.m, when it's time for the usual roll call, these 3 men don't respond. A guard walks over to their cells to check on them, assuming there's been some kind of mistake. He sees them lying in their beds, and as he approaches Frank's cell, he taps Frank on the head with his nightstick to wake him up. But when he taps Frank's head, it falls off, revealing that it wasn't Frank at all. It was a lifelike papier-mâché head. The guard is in shock, completely stunned. He probably thinks he's just accidentally decapitated Frank Morris, but the truth is far more incredible. All 3 of these prisoners have somehow managed to escape their cells, leaving behind these realistic fake heads. Chaos erupts across the prison. How could they possibly have escaped from one of the most secure prisons in the world? Soon after, investigators stumble upon a shocking revelation. Another prisoner, Alan West, has also made a fake head out of papier-mâché. West admits that he was part of the escape plan, but he didn't manage to break out in time. Fearing severe punishment, West decides to cooperate and reveals everything he knows about how Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers managed to pull off what seemed like the impossible. It's truly mind-blowing that these 3 men were able to escape the Alcatraz prison complex, which was known as one of the most secure prisons in the country. Even if someone somehow made it past the walls, there were still massive challenges ahead. The prison was surrounded by 6 watchtowers, a 20-foot-high fence lined with sharp barbed wire, and the cold, dangerous waters of San Francisco Bay. It seemed almost impossible that anyone could escape, but somehow, these 3 men managed to pull it off. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers were no ordinary prisoners. They came to Alcatraz with a long history of escape attempts. Frank Morris was a career criminal and a skilled one at that. He had been in and out of the system since the age of 13, mostly for robbery charges. He was such an accomplished escape artist that some people referred to him as the Houdini of the prison system, because he had successfully escaped from so many facilities before being sent to Alcatraz. John and Clarence Anglin were from the Florida-Georgia area. They were career criminals who had robbed a bank in Ohio with a toy gun. However, they were sent to Alcatraz after attempting to escape Leavenworth Prison. The mastermind and the plan. According to testimony from Alan West, West was the mastermind behind their escape plot. As West explained to investigators, they first needed a way out of their cells and into the maintenance corridor behind them. Inside an Alcatraz cell, there were only a few notable features, one of which was an air vent located below the sink. Due to the deterioration of the facility and the effects of salt water on the concrete, they were able to use spoons to scrape away the concrete around the vent. The men worked at night, taking turns standing guard for each other, and devised a way to conceal their progress. Since they couldn't leave holes in the back of their cells, West secured green paint from his prison job and demonstrated how to repaint around the vents as they removed them. This required significant patience because the guards conducted hourly checks. Later, the escapees began crafting papier-mâché vent covers to hide the holes they were creating. From 9 feet away, these covers looked like the original vents. Morris and the Anglins eventually managed to make their way through the holes for the first time. They climbed through the maintenance hallway to the top of the cell block by scaling pipes and inspected the vent that West had identified for the escape. However, they encountered a problem. The vent was bolted into place. The escapees needed additional time to file down the bolt securing the roof vent. To remain undetected during nightly checks, they created fake heads to place in their prison beds. These dummy heads were made from anything they could find: papier-mâché, soap, and even cement. For the finishing touch, Clarence Anglin collected human hair clippings from the barbershop and pasted them onto the fake heads, making them look shockingly real. The fake heads give the escapees the time they need to slip out of their cells, file down the bolt, and gain access to the roof. But getting out of the building is only half the plan. They also need to figure out a way to reach the shore. The escapees come up with an ingenious plan to turn prison rain jackets into an inflatable raft and several life preservers. Using a popular mechanics magazine, they not only learn how to construct these items but also create waterproof glue to hold them together in the water. They fashion paddles out of wood scraps and plywood found around the prison and steal a concertina to use as a bellow for inflating their makeshift raft. Around 10 p.m, Frank Morris, John Anglin and Clarence Anglin launched their makeshift raft into the treacherous waters of the San Francisco Bay, never to be seen again. The next morning, when the prisoners are discovered missing, one question echoes among the inmates, guards and the public. Did they make it? The FBI is called in to launch a search. The plan revealed. Investigators still have one of their best sources sitting right in a cell on Alcatraz Island. His name is Alan West, and he's been identified as the fourth escapee, or at least the one who tried to escape. West has the proof to back up his involvement, a papier-mâché head and a false vent cover, both of which were part of his plan to escape from his cell. West goes on to explain how he and the other escapees planned everything out. Instead of taking the obvious route, heading just 1 mile south to San Francisco, they had a different idea. They intended to go 2 miles north, all the way to Angel Island. At first, this might sound like an odd choice. Why not just go to San Francisco, a place many people would have tried to escape to? But when you think about it, going north to another island actually made a lot of sense. San Francisco was a busy, crowded city. The men were wearing prison clothes, so there was a very real risk they could be spotted or recognized right away. That's why heading to Angel Island, which was much quieter, seemed like a smarter plan. At the time, Angel Island was home to a missile base that was being decommissioned, which could offer advantages for the 3 wanted men. It was being taken offline, and very few people were present there at any given time. Additionally, there might have been actual boats the men could use to reach the mainland. The mainland in this instance wasn't San Francisco, but Marin County, only a quarter of a mile north. Once they landed in Marin, Alan West stated that the plan was to steal a car. While searching the waters around Angel Island a few days after the escape, investigators discovered a crucial clue that aligned with Alan West's testimony. They found a sealed packet made out of rubber raincoats, designed to keep water out. It was confirmed to belong to the Anglins because it contained pictures of several Anglin family members. Investigators also uncovered another clue off Angel Island, a makeshift wooden paddle, identical to the one Alan West had described. The Unsolved Mystery. On December 31st, 1979, more than 17 years after the escape, the FBI officially closed the case, handing the file over to the US Marshals in case new leads emerged. The case remained dormant until 2003 when US Marshal Michael Dyke decided to revisit the story, hoping to uncover new evidence. It wasn't long before Dyke found compelling evidence in government documents. He discovered a stolen car report in Marin County police records from the night of the escape. The vehicle, a 1955 blue Chevy, had been reported stolen. An eyewitness claimed to have seen 3 men inside the car, though at the time this detail seemed insignificant, as the escape had not yet been made public. Then, Dyke finds another police report from Stockton, California, nearly 100 miles east of Marin County. Within just a few hours of the reported auto theft, a man in Stockton claims he was forced off the road by a blue Chevy driven by 3 men. Later, that same blue car is spotted again near Stockton with 3 people inside, raising suspicions. If this evidence is reliable, it suggests the men may have survived the frigid waters and fled to Angel Island, just as they planned. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers might have actually gotten away with it. It's such an interesting story, isn't it? An escape from an inescapable fortress, a super secure prison, pulled off by 3 men who somehow found a way out. These men, who had spent most of their lives in and out of prisons, weren't just regular criminals. They were smart and resourceful, using whatever they could find in the prison to outsmart the system. They didn't just try to escape, they challenged the idea that anyone could break out of Alcatraz, and maybe, just maybe, they succeeded. Here's the strange part. No bodies have ever been found, and no proof of their deaths has ever turned up. The mystery is still unsolved, and there's a chance these men really did get away with it. It remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century, captivating everyone who hears it. After all, who doesn't love a story where the underdogs might have won? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Alcatraz escape, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.